You know what? Those leaves you spend hours bagging up and dragging to the curb every fall, those are exactly the same thing you go out and spend good money on the next spring when you buy bagged compost from the garden center. You're paying twice for the same stuff, once to throw it away and once to buy it back. And here's the kicker. The bagged compost from the store is mostly dead. The microbes in it have starved to death, sitting on the shelf. But the leaves you're throwing away, they're full of life. Today, I'm going to show you 3 ways to turn those leaves into the best soil amendment you've ever seen. No fancy equipment, no waiting a whole year. I'm talking about black gold, not chemical fertilizer, but living soil that's 1,000 times better. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, my neighbor Charlie was complaining about his big maple tree. He said he had to bag up 17 bags of leaves, and his back was killing him for a week. I said, "Don't drag them to the curb, give them to me." I ran my mower over them a few times, mixed them with my coffee grounds and grass clippings, and stacked them up. 6 weeks later, that pile had turned into black, crumbly compost that looked like chocolate cake. Charlie came over to see it, and his jaw dropped. He said he'd been buying bagged compost for 30 years and never seen anything that good. Now, every fall, he brings his leaves to my yard. Do you have a Charlie in your neighborhood? So why are leaves so valuable? A big tree pulls nutrients out of the soil, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and dozens of trace elements. And stores them in every single leaf. When those leaves fall and rot, those nutrients go right back into the soil. That is why forests have stayed productive for thousands of years without anyone spreading fertilizer. Leaves don't just have nutrients, they're packed with beneficial microbes and fungi. When you turn them into compost and put them back in your garden, you are basically giving your soil a shot of live probiotics, the bagged stuff from the store. It has been sitting in a plastic bag for months or years. The microbes are dead or dormant. You can't grow great vegetables with dead soil. Most people who try to compost leaves fail. Either it takes forever or it turns into a stinky, slimy mess. Today I am going to give you 3 methods, something for everyone, from the laziest gardener to the most hands-free on. The third one especially, most people have never tried it, but it'll blow your mind. Method 1, the lazy man's leaf mulch. If you are not in a hurry and just need a place to put your leaves, pile them up in a corner of your garden. Don't chop them, don't turn them, don't do anything. The earthworms will find them. They'll eat the leaves and leave behind worm castings. Fungi and bacteria will do their job too. The only downside, it is slow. A whole fall's worth of leaves might take until next fall to fully break down. If you don't mind waiting, this method costs you 0 effort. Method 2, the chop, hand, stack method. Leaves break down slowly for 2 reasons. First, they have a waxy coating that repels water. Second, they stack up tight and air can't get in. The solution: shred them. Spread your leaves on the lawn and run your mower over them a few times until they're in fingernail, sized pieces. Or buy a cheap hand cranked leaf shredder, $30 or so. Once they're shredded, the waxy coating is broken. Air can get in, and the microbes and worms go to town. Decomposition speeds up by at least 3 times. Pile up the shredded leaves and keep them moist, like a wrung out sponge. In a month, they'll be brown crumbs. In 2 months, you'll have rough compost ready to use as mulch. If you have grass clippings or coffee grounds, mix them in that doubles the speed. Method 3, the lasagna compost method. This is the fastest and most powerful way. It can turn 6 months of rotting into 6 to 8 weeks. Here is what you need: shredded leaves, your brown material, carbon source green material like grass clippings, kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, nitrogen source, and a compost bin or a circle of wire fencing. The pile needs to be at least 3 feet by 3 feet and 3 to 4 feet tall. Any smaller and it won't heat up properly. Now build it like a lasagna. Start with 6 to 8 inches of shredded leaves at the bottom. Water them until they're wet through. Add 2 to 3 inches of green material on top. Then sprinkle a thin layer of plain garden soil Fay, just a 1/4 inch. That soil isn't just filler. It brings in the microbes, like adding yeast to bread dough. Repeat the layers Fay brown, green soil Fay until the pile is full. Top it off with a layer of leaves. Why does this work so fast? The leaves give you carbon. The green stuff gives you nitrogen. The garden soil gives you the microbes. When the carbon Fay nitrogen ratio is right Fay, about 30 to 1 Fay, the microbes go crazy. The temperature inside the pile shoots up to 130 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. At that temperature, decomposition is 10 times faster than at room temperature. Plus, the heat kills weed seeds and disease pathogens. Every 4 or 5 days, turn the pile with a pitchfork Fay. Bring the stuff from the outside into the middle. After 3 or 4 turns, around 6 weeks later, you won't recognize the original leaves. The whole pile will be dark brown, crumbly, and smell like a forest after rain. No matter which method you use, avoid these 4 traps. Trap 1, wrong moisture. Your compost should feel like a wrung Fay-out sponge. Grab a handful and squeeze. A drop or 2 of water should come out, but not a stream. Too dry, and the microbes go dormant. Too wet, and the air can't get in Fay then. It stinks. Water it during dry spells, and cover it with a board or an old tarp when rain is heavy. Trap 2, too small. A tiny pile loses heat too fast. The pile needs to be at least 3 feet by 3 feet at the base and 3 to 4 feet tall. That size holds heat best. Trap 3, putting in the wrong stuff. Black walnut leaves contain a chemical called juglone that can stunt other plants. If you have a black walnut tree, compost those leaves separately for a year, or just don't use them. Don't add diseased leaves Fay, any leaves with powdery mildew, black spot, or rust. Those diseases might survive the composting process and come back to your garden next year. Never add pet waste, meat, fish, oil, dairy, or bread. They'll attract rats, raccoons, and stink to high heaven. Trap 4, forgetting to turn. For the first 2 weeks, turn the pile every 4 or 5 days. After that, every 7 to 10 days. When you turn it, you might see white fuzzy threads Fay. That is good. That is fungus working. If you smell ammonia, you have too much nitrogen Fay, add more shredded leaves. If it smells sour or rotten, it is too wet Fay, add dry shredded leaves, and turn it more often. How do you know when your compost is done? 5 signs. The color is dark coffee or black. It is crumbly Fay. You can't tell what the original leaves looked like. It smells like a forest floor Fay, no sour or rotten smell. The temperature feels the same as the outside air. And when you turn it, there are earthworms everywhere. Earthworms are the most honest quality inspectors you'll ever find. If they're living in your compost, it is top Fay grade. Every fall, I take my shredded leaves, mix them with straw from my chicken coop, coffee grounds, and grass clippings, and build a lasagna pile. In December, when it is below freezing outside, I go turn the pile. It is still warm inside. Steam rises. The worms are still working. Come spring, that pile has turned into dirt that money can't buy. My tomato seedlings go into it and never wilt. I never have to fertilize. So how do you use this black gold? 3 simple ways that work better than anything from a store. First, as a spring soil amendment, spread 1/2 inch of your finished compost on your garden beds and lightly scratch it into the top 2 or 3 inches of soil. That gives your garden every trace nutrient it needs, plus a full load of live microbes. Second, as mulch. Put 1 inch of compost around the base of your tomatoes, peppers, squash, and cucumbers. Top it with straw or wood chips. The microbes will slowly work their way down into the soil, feeding your plants all season while suppressing weeds. Third, as seed phase starting mix. Mix 1 part compost with 1 part coarse sand or perlite and 1 part garden soil. This is way better than those store-bought seed phase starting pellets because it has live microbes. Your seedlings won't get damp fay-off disease and their roots will explode. I've started all my tomatoes this way and never lost a single one. Here is the bottom line. Every fall, you put in the work to bag up your leaves, and your trash company charges you to haul them away. Then every spring, you pay again to buy compost and bagged soil. You are paying twice for the same pile of leaves. If you stop hauling them away and start composting them, instead, you turn 2 payments into 0. And you are not just saving money. Your garden will grow better than it ever did with chemical fertilizer. Chemicals feed leaves. Compost feeds the life in your soil. Starting this fall, don't let the garbage truck haul away your black gold. Pick one of these 3 methods. If you are lazy, use the pile forget method. If you want faster, shred them with your mower. If you want the best and fastest results, build a lasagna compost pile. 6 to 8 weeks later, you'll have the most valuable thing your garden will ever get. Comment below, what do you do with your leaves every fall? Which method are you going to try? Hit like and subscribe. Next time I'll show you how to make free seed starters out of leaves. You won't even need pots. Take care of your leaves and your garden will take care of your family. I'll